I've been telling you guys I want to get Dmitry Bivol, then Archer Beterbiev. And I know those are two fights that all the world of boxing wants to see.
But I know like it would be tough with Benavidez with his pressure, just his fighting style overall. That nigga's a beast, so I see it.
And I think I would like the only person that could probably challenge him would be Bivol.
David Benavidez and Dmitry Bivol appear to be headed toward one of boxing's most anticipated possible matchups. It's a clash between non-stop pressure and world-class precision, and opinions remain divided on who would have the edge. With a possible fight against Bivol hanging in the balance, Benavidez has continued making a strong push to get the deal done. He says he has never stepped away from top-level opposition and believes the bout has been delayed even though he has been ready to take it.
Would you prefer that fight over like a Bivol then?
There's no, you guys, I'm going to correct you guys where you guys keep saying that I don't get these fights, I don't get that fight. I don't get none of these fights because these guys don't want to fight me. If I would have had those fights available, I would have took that fight. The fight with Bivol, I was trying to fight Bivol for this fight. He didn't want to take the fight. I was, you know what I mean, with all these guys. That's why, like, I don't like people disrespecting me, saying that, oh, I'm talking all this shit, but I'm not taking the fights with these guys. These guys
I wasn't disrespecting.
No. It's I'm talking about other people. You know what I mean? Stuff that I see on the internet. These people, they don't want to take the fight with me. If they wanted to take the fight with me, that's the fight would have been having. You know what I mean? So
building on that, David Benavidez has spoken openly about his long-term goals, saying he wants to establish himself as the dominant champion in the division. He has also made it clear that a fight with Dmitry Bivol is the exact kind of matchup he has been pursuing.
I want to become unified champion at 175 and become a dominant champion at 175. I've been telling you guys I want to get Dmitry Bivol, then Archer Beterbiev. And I know those are two fights that all the world of boxing wants to see. So right now that I can make 175 comfortably, you know, I feel like we got to make that happen first. You know, we got this fight. You know, we're gonna get these belts first, and then we're gonna go back down, and then when it comes.
What makes it more interesting is that Teofimo Lopez sees the situation a different way and points to one serious danger. In his view, Dmitry Bivol is the one stylistic challenge that could truly trouble David Benavidez because of his elite footwork and exceptional distance control. Having shared the ring with world-class fighters across very different styles, Shakur Stevenson brings the kind of credibility that comes from understanding exactly what it takes to handle a difficult, high-pressure opponent.
It just makes sense because I've been waiting this whole time to fight Bivol. You know what I mean? That's what makes sense to me. That's what's fair. But then also too, my first defense when I'm unified champion is going to be Archer Beterbiev. So that's amazing too. So, you know what I mean? So the fans are going to be happy with whatever.
After spending decades building and promoting some of the sport's biggest fights, Oscar de la Hoya knows a defining opportunity when it appears. He sees this as a truly exciting matchup and believes Dmitry Bivol showing a willingness to take the fight instead of steering away from it reflects genuine championship character. In his eyes, this is more than just another big opportunity. It is the kind of fight that can finally determine who really sits on top.
I'll give him a tough fight, you know what I mean? That was just from the range a little bit here and there and giving him a fight. So it's all good, man. I'm excited. If the rumors are true, then it's good for Devin. You know what I mean? You know, it's probably for like 10 years.
He has a sharp sense for what makes a fighter truly dangerous, and with the Dmitry Bivol versus David Benavidez fight continuing to build momentum, he believes Benavidez's size, power, and non-stop pressure could end up being the difference, picking him to come out on top. He points to Benavidez's track record of wearing down bigger and more seasoned opponents as the main reason he gives him the advantage in this matchup.
I think that Benavidez and Bivol is another fight that's one of the biggest and best fights in the sport of boxing. I don't know if it's the biggest, but one of the best as far as like competitive wise.
Who you got in there? That's a hard fight. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm leaning towards Bivol, but I know like it would be tough with Benavidez with his pressure, just his fighting style overall. That nigga's a beast, so I see it as.
Adding even more fuel to the debate, David Benavidez has doubled down on his belief that what happened behind closed doors has already shown enough to give Dmitry Bivol reason to be careful about making the fight official. For Benavidez, it is not just speculation. He sees it as part of the bigger story behind why the matchup still has not happened.
I think Benavidez is very interesting. I think that's a hell of a fight. Wow. I mean, if he's willing to do that, if he's willing to be great and fight Benavidez, my gosh, that would solidify, Bivol's, Hall of Fame career for sure. But look, yeah, he proves to the world that he's the best at 175. So, yeah, I think that's a hell of a fight. That would be a hell of a route.
Weighing in on the debate, Radio Raheem believes the fight may come down to the subtle layers within the matchup that casual fans do not always catch. He suggests that Dmitry Bivol's timing and stylistic development could play a major role in how the fight unfolds, especially against someone like David Benavidez, who applies constant pressure. In his view, even with Artur Beterbiev being the immediate focus, the deeper chess match with Bivol is what truly shapes the future of the division.
At 175, so yeah, I think that's a hell of a fight. That would be a hell of a route to take.
Would you favor him or Benavidez in that?
Well, that's a tough one. That's a tough one because, I mean, I would go with Benavidez because he's more active. He throws more punches. He has better footwork, obviously, than Beterbiev. He's smarter up there. He knows how to think, knows how to adjust. Yeah, I would favor.
He suggests this may actually be the ideal moment for David Benavidez to step into a fight with someone like Dmitry Bivol. Instead of passing on the opportunity, he believes this is exactly the kind of moment when a fighter like Benavidez should be tested against the very best.
I definitely do think so. They can say whatever they want to say. They can say they're not worried, this and that. Everybody can say that. But like I said, he's felt my power up close and personal. I felt his power up close and personal too. But, I got the better of that. I got the better of that last sparring session we had. But like I said, I don't let that get to my head because I know I have to come extremely prepared for him. But I feel like that kind of got stuck in his head because we've had multiple times to make this fight happen and it hasn't happened. So I think that speaks volumes on it.
Addressing the ongoing debate, Sean Zittel pushes back against the idea that Dmitry Bivol is avoiding a potential fight with David Benavidez, arguing that the situation has more to do with boxing's business side than any clear attempt to stay away from the matchup. He explains that at this level, fights are often driven by timing, negotiations, and long-term planning rather than fighters simply turning down challenges.
Younger Bivol has more tools and potentially can mentally outmaneuver Benavidez easier than he will be able to do at this age. I don't know if his body will be able to do what his mind is telling it to do. And we might see maybe even a one-sided fight. I mean, we might even see a one-sided fight for elements that are not representative of the potential of a Bivol in his best at his.
Saying his son already defeated the man who stayed away from that very fight, Benavidez Sr. presents the matchup as the natural next step rather than a stretch. He is pushing for the Bivol fight to happen and argues that David should be the next Mexican fighter to challenge him. In his view, it would be a huge and compelling fight for the sport, and he is openly calling for it to become a reality. It is the matchup he believes would show exactly where his son stands in boxing.
Is the fight for now. Let Benavidez go and make his name and carve out his real estate against the guys that are in his age bracket and that are hot in the way that he's hot right now. I want to see open tie. I'm fine with that.
After guiding his son through every level of competition, he does not avoid confronting the criticism directly. As questions continue about who they have or have not faced, they say they tried more than once to make the Bivol fight happen, but those negotiations eventually collapsed, which is what led them to move forward with other opponents instead.
Gotten to that point where you could just go, okay, Bivol is just blatantly David Benavidez, but if he goes through with a Callum Smith fight, that's much more of a it's business if he takes the Beterbiev trilogy in his motherland of Russia. So I gotta understand that, but I want to see Benavidez Bivol, Benavidez Opataya, soon. But right now the fight is Benavidez and Bivol, and from what I'm
having already gone through 2 classic fights with Beterbiev, Bivol says the rivalry no longer drives him the way it once did. With talk of a trilogy now returning, he makes it clear that he is willing to finish the series if that is the fight the boxing world wants next. At the same time, he says he is just as motivated by the chance to take on new challenges, test himself in different situations, and chase fresh accomplishments that would add even more to his legacy.
That's why we want to fight him, because I believe that Bivol is a great fighter too, a very dangerous fighter. Look what he did to Canelo. look what he did to Surto Ramirez. David will be the third Mexican that he will fight. And I think that would be a great fight, a big fight, you know. But we want that fight. Let's make it happen. Eddie Hearn, let's go. Let's make this fight happen, you know. I like Eddie Hearn, you know, he's a great a guy, you know. But, you know, at the end of the day, we're here. You know, that's the fight that we would love to make, and hopefully.
Timothy Bradley knows what it really takes to go after the best, and that is exactly why this situation frustrates him. He argues that Benavidez should be aggressively chasing the top names at 175 pounds, especially Dmitry Bivol, instead of allowing the fight to keep sitting on the sidelines.
Nobody. We've proven ourselves. We keep proving ourselves. And the fights, and I'll tell you right now, the fights that we won is Bivol, Benavidez, Opetaya, you know. But let me start with Bivol. We wanted to make that fight before we fought Anthony Yarde. He didn't want to fight. He gave us the belt. That's not the way that we wanted to get the belt. We wanted to fight. Then we went to Benavidez, and we wanted to make that fight. He didn't want to fight. So that's why we fought Anthony Yarde.
That mindset comes from understanding what it means to seek out the hardest possible tests, and it shapes everything he says here. So when the focus shifts to Benavidez, he does not hold back about how badly he wants to see him in the ring with Dmitry Bivol, not as some future possibility, but as the fight that should be taking place right now while both men are still at their best.
Now I don't care now. I want to come back and then we will see. Yeah, trilogy is, if people want to see it, I would like to show it. If people want to see Benavidez, let's do it. But for my soul also, I want to come, I want to move up. I want to try to another weight class. I want to have some more achievement. And we will see.
Maybe the winner of Benavidez versus Bivol?
Maybe, yeah. It's interesting, yeah, also. They will have...
Coming through the sport at a time when major fights often get caught up in politics, Ben Whittaker keeps his focus on what really matters for the division. He questions whether the fight will actually happen, pointing to Benavidez's size as a reason he could end up moving to cruiserweight. In his view, the obstacle is not fear but logistics and weight class politics. As for the matchup itself, this is not just a fight fans want to see. It may depend as much on timing as it does on willingness.
Okay, because that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at fight those dudes, those guys right there. You know, you just got up to 175. You know, you fought some contenders there, but damn, man, let's try to get these champions, man. Like, you should be after a Benavidez fight. You should be after a Bivol fight. That's what you should be after. You know, now he wants to go up and weight, and I guess he's struggling to make.
Speaking as someone who has competed at the highest level himself, Tim Tszyu does not hesitate when asked what Benavidez can still accomplish. With discussion building around a possible move up to heavyweight, he believes Benavidez still has more to show there and would enter that situation as the clear favorite. He is convinced that the level of performances Benavidez has been putting together, controlling opponents across multiple divisions, shows there is still plenty left for him to achieve.
You know, he was trying to be, you know, complex or whatever, but still his defense still lacked. He got a ton of heart, and you know, he got to be able to let those hands go. And I knew Benavidez was going to be way too much, man, way too accurate. And once he figured out that this guy can't get away from a jab, it was all she wrote. You know, that jab was him, and then the combination to follow after that. But I want to see Benavidez fight those guys, those big, those, you know what I'm saying? Get them name dudes. That's what I...
He does not say things like that lightly, and when he does, people in boxing pay attention. He points out that while many fighters talk about having heart, Benavidez proves it with substance in every part of his game. In his view, that kind of mentality is becoming rare in an era where so many top fighters protect their records and stay away from risk. Because of that, he openly says Benavidez is the opponent he most wants to see Bivol face, a true measuring stick fight that would show exactly how good Benavidez really is.
Great fight for the division. I don't know if it will happen because Benavidez looks big, man. They're talking about it might be fine for the WBC at the cruiserweight. So if he's sitting around that weight for a while, it will be hard to come down. But it's a fight that a lot of people want to see. They've sparred, they've got history, and the fighters that are not scared to fight. So it's all just politics or weight.
With the conversation around a possible David Benavidez versus Dmitry Bivol showdown continuing to build, Sean Porter points to what makes Bivol such a difficult problem for anyone in the division. He describes him as a fighter with elite command of distance, someone who can make opponents miss and punish them for every mistake. In Porter's view, that level of control and discipline is what separates Bivol from most of the...
I don't know. I feel like he's got unfinished business at light heavyweight, you know?
Yeah.
So...
Will you want to see a fight at light heavyweight?
Better BF, Bivol,
okay.
One of those guys.
Will he be favored against those?
100%. He should be ranking in the top pound for pound, man. With that performance like that, he's just smashing divisions out, man. He's gonna go...
The top contenders at 175. He says Bivol is a great boxer who understands range, knows how to make you miss, and knows exactly how to make you pay for it, which is why he believes Bivol's ring IQ and control could create serious problems for Benavidez in a potential fight. Benavidez against Bivol is the kind of matchup boxing fans have been waiting on for years. Two unbeaten-level forces with completely different styles, and one question that still will not go away. What happens when pressure meets perfect control?
To see Benavidez. I mean, Benavidez is an action fighter. He's a good fighter. He's a great fighter. He's a terrific fighter. He's buttoned up in all areas, mentally, you know, technically, physically, and he's, you know, like they all have the great art, but he's the guy, you just kind of touched on it, that, you know, he said he's willing to come down. That's Benavidez. You know, have gloves, will travel. He's willing to go anywhere. That's what you got to love about him. I don't care, you know, who...
Benavidez brings non-stop aggression and volume, while Bivol depends on timing, distance, and precise shot placement. On paper, it looks like a chess match loaded with knockout danger from both sides. If you're enjoying these breakdowns, hit subscribe, drop your pick in the comments, and share your prediction too.